Good day, everyone. On behalf of my co-authors, Dr. Maria Leslie B. Basalio, Professor Julius O. Basalio, and Professor Queenie Marie B. Abad, I, Kim Nino G. Cantero, am the corresponding author and representative of the Cebu Technological University Barili Campus, Cebu, Philippines, will present the study entitled On Research Brass Tacks, a pre-evaluation of an institutional-driven farm tourism site development in Southern Philippines. As a crucial global sector, tourism has long played a role in emerging countries such as the Philippines. Although, over the years, a growing emphasis on socially responsible tourism and its future importance became apparent as the private-public convergence advanced, resulted in a robust tourism growth. Prior to COVID, while just 7.1 million recorded tourists in 2018, arrivals exceeded the aim of 8.2 million by 15.2% in 2019. As statistically manifested, tourism resilience and private-public convergence expanded some source markets and laid the groundwork for expanded yet more customized tourism offerings in the Philippines. Hence, the call for product diversification prompted the Philippine Department of Tourism and its attached agencies and the local government units to expand the tourism product portfolio of the country. Hence, the collaborative initiative resulted in a farm tourism product to attract local and international visitors to farm areas by providing experiential, agricultural-based activities, generating additional income for farm owners. Farm tourism characterizes experience by bringing tourists to farms for recreation and education. Specifically, it emphasizes the economic benefits that farm activities provide to the farm site and the community. Furthermore, with the easing of leisure travel restrictions, there is a need to prioritize the enhancement of the local and international tourists' experience with farm visits as one of the top 5 travel activities. Research findings from the Regional Center for Graduate Study and Research in Agriculture of Southeast Asia confirm farm tourism as a diverse source of revenue for small farmers while fostering sustainable farm systems and community engagement and influence rural tourism development. It highlights the country's rural economic environment since urbanization progresses in central provinces like Cebu, Philippines. The residents and travelers alike start seeking a respite from the metropolis. Thus, farm tourism ignites rural development that benefits community livelihoods. Conclusively, with a forecast to capitalize on the increase in tourist arrivals after COVID-19, it is necessary to look into opportunities in developing a targeted and institutional-driven farm tourism project. Existing researches demonstrated the value of farm tourism and its potential to further improve Philippine tourism. However, the surrounding literature on an institutional-driven farm tourism site development is insufficient. Therefore, this preliminary readiness evaluation research serves as a foundation reference for educational institutions planning to develop a farm tourism site. The components to be evaluated are infrastructure, accessibility, quality of surroundings, operations, maintenance, facilities and amenities, safety and security, sanitation, and any potential problems or opportunities at the site. An institutional-driven initiative aligns diverse approaches while adhering to government aims in increasing the efficiency and quality of research outcomes. It can generate long-term financial benefits for the institution and the community, resulting in long-term growth, linkage, and sustainability. In addition, it opens doors for collaborative extension projects and positive support in local tourism policies and tourism-related budget allocations. This research predicates that the country hopes to increase arrivals in domestic tourism and a bright outlook for farm tourism sector. With this, Cebu's diversified environment and rich culture contribute to farm tourism by complementing the market of destinations. As such, a thorough understanding of farm tourism's potential to maximize economic and social advantage is essential as this campus-driven endeavor will not materialize overnight. Therefore, the institution is a significant tourism industry stakeholder in presenting Cebu and the Philippines as a delightful and must-experience farm tourism destination once the research prospers. The study adheres to the rigorous research design standards that are evaluative, descriptive, complemented with an approach that utilizes mixed method techniques. Following the COVID-19 Interagency Task Force standards for field research, the proponents employed an online data gathering. The co-respondents were the teaching and non-teaching personnel of the institution, and inputs from the local and national tourism authorities were gathered because government standards, expert suggestions, and data legitimacy are crucial to the study. The researcher made instrument anchors on the Philippine Tourism Government's situation analysis tool and were tested for validity and reliability to ensure functionality. In terms of ethics, the researchers requested consent from the participants and guaranteed their identities and responses would be kept confidential, and that the data derived shall be used for scholarly purposes only. For the results, Table 1 validates and depicts that most respondents were 31 to 40 years of age. In addition, most of them were females and graduated their master or doctoral degrees. Moreover, a quarter of the population were the educators of the university. Table 2 shows the tourism profile of the respondents as prospect visitors of the proposed farm tourism site. Statistically, 68.95% of the respondents are willing to stay overnight at a farm tourism site even if they are from the same municipality. In terms of expenditure, half of the respondents are willing to spend less than 1,000 per day per night. The main prospective farm activities to avail are agricultural displays with 78.69%, camping, farm stores and markets with 67.21%, flower power with 60.66%, meeting barnyard animals, picnic 54.10%, and horseback riding with 50.82%. In addition, the data envisions the activities to have partaken with family members and relatives amounting to 78.69%. Therefore, ladies and gentlemen, farm tourism and the surrounding favorable market trends, especially in the Philippines, position farm tourism development to prosper. Qualities of the farm tourism site also influence sales chance, authentic tourism experience, and rural destinations like Barili in Cebu, Philippines, highly benefit from agritourism. In Table 3.1, in terms of accessibility, the respondents generally perceived that the site is ready. However, there were no sufficient provisions yet for PWD tourists. Take note that accessibility is an essential consideration for inclusive tourism development as it fundamentally includes people with disabilities in tourism and society. In Table 3.2, in terms of infrastructural requirements, with a weighted mean of 3.31, the respondents believed that this still needs to be improved or established for tourism site to be ready. Never forget that established infrastructure support is the cornerstone of tourism development to meet the tourists' need and boost their satisfaction. In Table 3.3, the safety and security provisions of the area were ready for respondents' perception. It was overall rated with 3.67. Remember that the primary factor threatening the tourism industry and the competitiveness of many other tourist destinations is lack of tourism protection. Therefore, the proponents postulate that providing outstanding services and memorable experiences in tourism require safety. In Table 3.4, in terms of operations and maintenance, with the weighted mean of 3.11, a rating of somewhat ready manifested. Especially local tour guides is non-existent at the onset of research. Facilities management involves infrastructure, human resources and organization, and ensuring proper maintenance and protection increases the farm site's asset life. Therefore, with a weighted mean of 2.31 in the area of facilities and amenities, a rating of somewhat ready reflects this domain. However, data confirms that souvenir shops, wood holding areas, and tourism reception information counter are still to be prepared fully. In Table 3.6, with a weighted mean of 3.47, accommodation, and food and beverage basic requirements were perceived as available and ready. However, there is a need to establish farm tourism personnel and improve the overall structure, furnishing, private bathrooms, and the canteen. Take note that facilities and amenities help visitors feel comfortable and safe when visiting an area, thus profoundly affects the overall experience. Indirect costs of treating sanitation-related diseases and lost income due to the decreased productivity result from inadequate sanitation. With a weighted mean of 3.42, data shows that sanitation and hygiene were deemed ready but revealed that the public restrooms needed improvement. In Table 4.0, a relatively high proportion of respondents manifested that the institution must invest in the university's health and safety compliance conditions when offering farm tourism and its associated activities. Adequate crisis management is a requirement from risk reduction through recovery of emergencies that threaten or degrade the brand value of farm tourism experience and enterprise per se. Therefore, the institution must put in place the basic requirements to consider the safety and security of the prospective guests. In conclusion, economic growth, linkage, and sustainability are outcomes of institutional-driven research that matches varied approaches with rural tourism development while adhering to government objectives. Moreover, the increasing urbanization has prompted the institution to seek out initiatives to contribute to the growth of domestic travel, which aims at farm tourism development. However, the data gathered poses the nonconformity of critical components necessary for the readiness of campus-driven farm tourism project. Therefore, as determined at present, the readiness and potential for an institutional-driven farm tourism site development are not yet conceivable. It must improve and establish the minimum requirements mandated by the Philippine Department of Tourism for farm tourism development in the following areas: PWD access, general on-site infrastructure, furnishing of structures, private and public restrooms and the canteen, souvenir shop, visitor holding area, tourist reception and information center, and hiring and training of farm tourism personnel and local tour guides. With a 4 to 5 year forecast, the proponents look into the following: commitment and funding support in the improvement and establishment of lacking tourism components and requirements for site reassessment, creation and funding for an institutional farm tourism research and development committee and conduct a re-evaluation research, strategic planning on the focal areas of farm tourism development, including the project's vision, strategic directions, actions, activities, cost estimates, and monitoring evaluation framework, consultation and focus group discussion with identified partner agencies, procurement, bidding, and acquisition of farm tourism equipment, products, services, and requirements, and lastly, implementation and launching of the campus-driven farm tourism site. In terms of research opportunities, this research necessitates re-evaluation on the weak tourism areas for development as identified in the findings. This serves as a valuable reference for future studies on educational institutions investing in farm tourism site development. It creates a window for opportunity analysis regarding collaborative extension projects, tourism policies, and funding support. And with the ongoing pandemic, a gap in further scientific analysis of tourism arrivals, forecasts concerning its impact on the project remains. On a final note, to reiterate, this research serves as a preliminary evaluation review on the readiness of an educational institution to develop a rural farm tourism site based on the minimum requirements set by the Philippine Department of Tourism. Although it may be a fact and a challenge that there are 7 subsets in the requirements that bar the initiative to prosper, however, we have determined the future outlook, priority actions, and research opportunities which serves as research-based evidence for long-term project implementation and actualization. Despite the challenge, ladies and gentlemen, let us all remember that farm tourism spurs rural development that benefits local economies. Thank you, and mabuhay from the Philippines.